Does sugar feed cancer? It's a question that creates so much fear and confusion. You've probably seen the headlines, the social media posts, maybe even had a well-meaning friend tell you to cut out all sugar to starve cancer cells. But is it really that simple? Let's talk about what the science actually says, so you can feel informed, not afraid. Welcome to The Better Habit, where we explore health and nutrition in a way that's realistic, sustainable, and actually works for your life. Today, we're diving into one of the most emotional topics in nutrition, the link between sugar and cancer. We're going to separate fact from fear and give you clear, practical takeaways. So where did this idea that sugar feeds cancer even come from? It started almost a century ago with a Nobel Prize winning scientist named Otto Warburg. In the 1920s, he made a groundbreaking discovery. He observed that cancer cells consume glucose, a simple sugar, at a much higher rate than healthy cells. He also noticed they use a different metabolic process called fermentation, even when there's plenty of oxygen available. This phenomenon became known as the Warburg Effect. Now, this is a fascinating and crucial piece of cancer biology. It helps us understand how cancer cells are different. But over the years, this scientific observation has been misinterpreted into a very simple, but unfortunately inaccurate dietary rule. Sugar feeds cancer, so don't eat any sugar. Here's the problem with that logic. Yes, cancer cells love sugar. But so do all the other cells in your body. Your brain, your muscles, your red blood cells, they all rely on glucose for energy. It's the body's primary fuel source. If you were to try and eliminate all sources of glucose from your diet, you wouldn't just be starving cancer cells. You'd be starving your healthy cells, too. Your body is incredibly smart. And if it doesn't get glucose from your diet, it will start making its own from other sources, like protein and fat, through a process called gluconeogenesis. Your body will do whatever it takes to keep your blood sugar levels stable enough to fuel your brain and other vital organs. So, you can't selectively starve cancer cells just by cutting sugar from your diet. The biological reality is far more complex. This leads us to the next big question. What about the ketogenic diet? The keto diet is very low in carbohydrates and high in fat, which forces the body into a state of ketosis, where it burns fat for fuel instead of glucose. The theory is that since cancer cells are so dependent on glucose, switching to a fat-burning state could slow their growth. And there is some promising research here, mostly from animal studies and some small human trials. Some studies suggest that a ketogenic diet might make certain cancer treatments, like chemotherapy and radiation, more effective. It might also improve quality of life for some patients. And this is very important, but the evidence is not strong enough to recommend keto as a standalone cancer treatment. It's still considered experimental, and it's definitely not right for everyone. A ketogenic diet is incredibly restrictive and can have side effects like nutrient deficiencies, fatigue, and digestive issues. It can also cause unintended weight loss, which can be very dangerous for someone going through cancer treatment. That's why it's absolutely critical that no one starts a restrictive diet like keto without close supervision from their oncology team and a registered dietitian. Making drastic dietary changes on your own during treatment can do more harm than good. The goal is to support the body, not add more stress to it. So, if cutting out all sugar isn't the answer and keto isn't a magic bullet, what should we do? Where does that leave us? This is where we shift our focus from fear to empowerment. The real connection between sugar and cancer is more indirect, and it's all about creating a healthier overall environment in your body. The issue isn't a single piece of fruit or a spoonful of sugar in your tea. The problem lies with a diet high in added sugars and refined carbohydrates. Think sugary drinks, candy, pastries, and ultra-processed foods. When we regularly consume these foods, it can lead to a cascade of effects in the body. First, it can lead to chronic inflammation. A little bit of inflammation is good. It helps your body heal from injury. But when it's constant and low-grade, it creates an environment where diseases, including cancer, are more likely to develop and grow. Second, a high-sugar diet is a major driver of weight gain and obesity. We know from extensive research that carrying excess body fat is a significant risk factor for at least 13 different types of cancer. Fat tissue isn't just inert storage. It's metabolically active. It produces hormones like estrogen and inflammatory compounds that can promote cancer cell growth. And third, consistently high sugar intake can lead to insulin resistance. Every time you eat carbs, your pancreas releases insulin to help move glucose from your blood into your cells. If you're constantly bombarding your body with sugar, your cells can become resistant to insulin's signal. Your body responds by pumping out even more insulin. High levels of insulin and a related hormone called insulin-like growth factor 1 can act as accelerators for cancer cell growth. So the conversation isn't really about sugar feeds cancer. It is about how a dietary pattern high in added sugar can create a pro-cancer environment in the body through inflammation, excess body fat, and hormonal imbalances. This is actually good news. Why? Because it puts the power back in your hands. It means you don't have to live in fear of a single cookie. Instead, you can focus on building a dietary pattern that creates an anti-inflammatory, cancer-protective environment. You can focus on what to add to your diet, not just what to take away. So, what does that look like in practice? It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about building better habits, one at a time. The most powerful strategy is to focus on a diet rich in whole plant-based foods. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds are packed with fiber, vitamins, minerals, and powerful plant compounds called phytonutrients. These phytonutrients are amazing. They act as antioxidants, fighting off cellular damage. They have anti-inflammatory properties. Some can even help regulate hormones and slow the growth of cancer cells. Eating a wide variety of colorful plants is like hiring a tiny army to protect your cells. Let's make this really simple and actionable. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. That approach rarely works. Instead, let's focus on one small sustainable habit you can start today. Your actionable takeaway is this: focus on adding, not just subtracting. Instead of trying to eliminate all sugar, which feels overwhelming, I want you to pick one meal a day, just one, and ask yourself, how can I add more color to this plate? Maybe it's adding a handful of spinach to your eggs in the morning. Maybe it's throwing some berries into your yogurt or oatmeal. Or perhaps it's adding a side salad with lots of colorful veggies to your lunch. That's it. Just one small change. This simple habit shifts your mindset from deprivation to abundance. It naturally crowds out less healthy choices without making you feel restricted. As you start adding more of these nutrient-dense foods, you'll naturally have less room and less desire for the high-sugar, processed foods. It's a gentle, sustainable way to tilt your diet in a healthier, more protective direction. Remember, the goal is to build a body that is resilient and inhospitable to cancer, and that's achieved through consistent, positive daily habits, not through fear-driven, extreme diets. Your body is on your side, and your daily choices are your best tool to support it. If this helped bring some clarity to a confusing topic, please give the video a like. Share it with someone who might be worried about this and could use a calm, evidence-based perspective. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What is one colorful food you're going to add to a meal this week? Be sure to subscribe to The Better Habit for more simple, science-based ways to feel better and build a healthier life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.